Hello everybody, it's Ann behind my apron popping on tonight because tonight is cook-along night. So I am so excited for all of you that voted on Monday about the 4 chicken recipes. You know, it was really fun. I had some chicken on hand that I wanted to use, but I thought what a way to do it, to find out what you guys would like to see me make. So I'm going to do the chicken tetrazzini in the pressure cooker tonight because that was the overwhelming pick. And the Thai chicken pizza, I am going to make sometime in the next few days as well because that was a really pretty close second, honestly. So I'm super excited about that. So couple things before we get started. First of all, thank you for voting. I wanted to try something new. So if you are cooking along with me, please drop in the comments and let me know that. So I know that I have some people actually cooking along with me on this recipe. So if you are, you should already have, if you've read the recipe, you should have already preheated your pressure cooker. Ours is called the multi-cooker on the sear setting, so you wanted to get that hot, okay? So that's the very first thing that we're gonna do. And so mine is already hot and it is ready for me to work with. So I am going to just use this 5-minute sear setting. And I'm going to open up and drop in 2 tablespoons of butter that we want to get melting. So I'm just going to put it in the pot. Let me just wash my hands off quick. And we are going to let that melt, okay? So if you're wondering about where this recipe is from, it is in this new spring. So in March, when our products change, it is in the new spring Season's Best Cookbook. So you guys are actually getting a sneak peek of a new recipe too. So that's really fun. So again, if you are cooking along with me tonight, put it in the comments below. If you're cooking something else for dinner tonight, put that in the comments below too, because I do really want to know, all right? So the very first step on this recipe is melting the butter. Then the second step that we're going to do, it said to chop up 1 onion, and I had this gigantic onion, so this is just half, because I thought that that was probably pretty close to an average size onion. And I'm going to use the manual food processor because this is one of my favorite items that saves a lot of time in people's kitchens. So if you don't have a manual processor, grab your food chopper, whatever it is, so that you can be cooking along with me. But we need to chop up the onions. So again, if you just popped on a couple minutes late, if you didn't catch I was live, if you're cooking along, make sure you drop it in the comments that you're cooking with me. So I'm going to grab my knife and just chunk this onion into a few smaller pieces so it's a little bit more manageable. The processor has the 1 boat propeller blade, and so you just put the blade in the bottom of the container and then drop in the onion. So it's all in there like this. And then you put the lid on. And this is a great product because you can actually mix things in here as well as chopping. So I will just, whoops, obviously I don't have it sitting straight. There we go. I will just do, let me just do a few chops so you guys can see already, okay? And think about making like egg salad. You could chop the onions and the celery in here, and so do a few more chops. Then when you had your onions and celery chopped, you could add in your hard-boiled eggs, your mayo, your mustard, your dill, and mix it right in there. So not only is it great to chop one main thing like I'm doing, all these onions, it's great to be able to add other things in it too as you're making. Lots of people love it for salsa. So if you already have this and you use it, put it in the comments. I'm just going to do a few more cups, because the recipe says finely chopped onion. So I have the onion chopped. I am going to literally just go back over here to the multi-cooker. The butter is melted in there. So I'm going to add the onions. We're also going to add some mushrooms. So you know I love this quick slice. And so we're going to just quickly put some mushrooms on the top. Look how quick it slices for me. Dump them right in there. Put in a couple more. Get the last couple pieces. Then let's do a quick stir of the onions and mushrooms. And let's go back to the recipe to see what it says next. Then it says add some salt and pepper. So I just have some fresh sea salt. So I'll just grind in a little sea salt and a little pepper. And then we're just gonna let that cook for 3 or 4 minutes till those vegetables are softened, okay? So that's the first step of this recipe. And then for those of you that are cooking along with me, if you can kind of see here, I'll kind of move the things around, but I kind of pulled out everything I would need so it's kind of quickly prepped. It just makes it so much easier. So I am going to, when that I feel is softened, which I think I'm gonna add another minute or two. We'll see. I'll check it again in a minute or two. Then we do the next layering process, which involves adding the pasta and the chicken. But don't do that all at once. So do make sure you read the recipe, because the first time I did it, I added a couple things at the wrong order. So it is good to kind of proof it and read it. And I posted the recipe on the Facebook page for you already. So let's, I'm gonna add another minute. So you can easily change. And we'll just see if we need it for those whole 2 or 3 minutes. But I want to get my mushrooms just a little bit softer before I add the others in there. And by the way, I should have mentioned to you, if you don't already own this manual processor, it is one of our February sale items that we love. So this is actually on sale in the month of February. So don't hesitate to look that up as well. And if you need help with that, let me know. Then I'm going to take our box of linguine. You also could substitute spaghetti. That's not a problem at all. And I'm going to take the linguine noodles, and we only want half of this box for the, half of this box for the recipe as I shoot them all over the place. So I'm just going to guess about the half mark and take out half. And then kind of a really cool trick that a customer taught me. So everybody helps everybody become a better cook in the kitchen. And I didn't mean to dump those few out because that kind of defeats the purpose of this. But a customer showed me, you know, you're going to break these in half. So she showed me, if you just lay a clean kitchen towel out and cover it like I have right there, and then pick them up and break them in half, then they don't shoot anywhere and you don't lose any of the pieces. So I thought that was an absolutely great hack. So we are almost, oh my gosh, yes, everything's getting softened in here. We are almost to the point where we will add the next layer. And I think it'd be kind of fun. I'm going to see if I can take you closer and higher. Let me just pop it off of here and give you a sneak peek in there so you can see what's cooking. So you guys can see that in a minute. It's always fun to actually see the action. I worry about getting you kind of motion sick when I do that, but hopefully that worked out. Okay. Let me check the comments quick to see who's cooking along with me. So if you are cooking, as I'm looking, oh, we do have some people cooking. This is awesome. If you are cooking along with me, drop it in the comments so that I know. And if you aren't, you'll be able to access this video later and you can cook along and make this recipe at home. I have already posted the recipe for you on my Facebook wall. And then another thing, if you kind of like watching Cooking Tonight, at 7 o'clock Central Time, Home Office is going to cook live from Pampered Chef's Home Office Test Kitchen, and they're doing some fun ideas for the Super Bowl this weekend. So after I'm done cooking this, I will go into the comments on my live, and I will post the link for you to get into Home Office's live, because it's held on a special Zoom site. So if you want that, just come back in a few minutes when I'm done, and I'll have the link posted there for you, okay? So it was just telling me it's done. So I agree. It looks like everything in there is softened. So now if you go back to the instructions again it tells you to add the pasta by layering and crisscrossing it. So we're going to take some of this pasta and we're going to put it in this direction. And then we're going to take some pasta and we're going to put it in this direction. And then we'll repeat going both directions. And that just helps separate the pasta so it doesn't all cook together. After we have the pasta layered in there, then we are going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. And it recommends low sodium, and that is exactly what I bought. I'm going to use the Easy Read measuring cups to measure out the 2 cups of broth that I need. Whoops, I accidentally just hit that. So if you aren't working with slant read measuring cups, you want to get pretty accurate on your amount of 2 cups so it absorbs the right amount in the pasta, all right? So we're going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. Then we are going to add 1 cup of milk. I already pre-measured out my milk. We are going to add 1 cup of frozen peas. And we're going to add up the pound of chicken that I already had cubed. So all of these ingredients are in. Now I'm going to put the lid on. And I'm going to go to the custom setting. As you can see, as you move through, it highlights different things. So it's at custom, and I need 5 minutes. So I'm turning the dial back to 5 minutes. And now it'll say run. You hold it in until it starts. So I backed out a little bit so that you could see it. So hopefully you all can see the word run on there. And so now it'll run for 5 minutes when it gets up to high pressure, and that's cooking the inside, okay? So now while that's cooking though, we have a couple other things that we need to do for this recipe here on the stove top. So I'm gonna move you around again. And the bowl, Lori, that I had the chicken in was the 3-cup prep bowls with the lid, and I absolutely love that. So I have a small skillet on top of my stove from the nonstick line. And we're going to toast the breadcrumbs. And I just got to check quick to see how much butter I melt while that is there. It is asking for another tablespoon of butter. So let's cut a tablespoon of butter. And we're going to put it in this skillet. And I am only making half, I should let you know this. I am only making half of the amount of the breadcrumb topping for our recipe because I just don't put it on the top. So I'm just trying to get you guys to balance a little better. Sorry. Gosh, hang on. This is why my apron says PC for Pampered Chef, not Perfect Chef. There we go. So I'm only putting half of the breadcrumbs because this is an interesting part of the recipe. You use these toasted breadcrumbs as part of the thickening for the chicken tetrazzini. Then the other half goes across the top as you serve it. And I just skip that step because we personally just don't want all that on the top. So it's just one of those things that I kind of am sharing a little tip with you. So instead of a whole cup of breadcrumbs, I am going to stir in a half a cup of breadcrumbs into this melted butter in this skillet. And this is the little 10-inch, no, maybe it's the 8-inch. I don't know. It's one of the non-stick pans that I absolutely love because, you guys, this is a line that the handle comes right off. So it's so easy to throw it in the dishwasher or to store in your cupboard. And now I'm going to spread these crumbs around. I'll try to bring you back so you guys are seeing this a little better. And then I'm just going to stir this and let it cook for 3 or 4 minutes till that's getting toasted. So you do want to kind of keep tossing this. You don't want to just let it sit there because of course you don't want that to burn. So you will keep tossing that. While I'm toasting that though, the other part of the thickening for this recipe is 1/4 cup of milk and a tablespoon of cornstarch. So let's measure that out. So I'm taking a tablespoon of cornstarch and I'm going to just whisk it into this 1/4 cup of milk. And I love the flat bottom whisk for this little opportunity here in the 1 cup prep bowls, because it just makes it so fast. As you can see how easy it is to whisk the cornstarch into that. So that will be the other thickening. So that looks awesome. It's there. I just want to go back and stir these crumbs. Oh, you can kind of smell them. I wish you guys were here so there was a smell sense that you could get. You can, when you're toasting something. And by the way, another great way to toast things is in the air fryer. Like a lot of times I will have recipes that call for toasted nuts, and I will do those in the air fryer. It's so quick. So just make sure you, like the first time you do pecans, I think I set it at 3 minutes, and it turned out that I needed it to be about 4.5 for how crunchy I wanted it to be. So that's just a little hint for you as well if you have an air fryer at home. Okay, those are coming. So let's do a quick refresh for those of you that are cooking along. The pasta and chicken is cooking in the pressure cooker, so that will be super easy. We're making the topping or thickening right now. And the recipe says you can add parsley and lemon zest if you would like. I am not adding either one of those tonight, frankly, because I forgot to buy the lemon. And second of all, because I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of parsley for this recipe, because I won't be here for a couple days. So to me, that was just wasteful. And parsley is just for looks, and it's going to be pretty anyway with the green peas in it. So I'm not too worried about that. And so the thickening that I did with the milk and cornstarch, we're going to now pop it in the microwave. So sorry that I'm cutting out your picture, but 20 seconds in the microwave will thicken that for you. So it'll be ready to stir right into the recipe when that pops out. Looks like we're at about 1 more minute here on the toasting. And you can use breadcrumbs or panko crumbs. Also, both of those work really well. And then I had a friend tell me that she likes to make this by crushing up Ritz crackers. And so when I mentioned, where'd it go? Here. When I mentioned using the manual processor tonight, we used it for onions. It's great to crush crackers too. So if you're crushing graham crackers or Ritz crackers or something, this really, really gets it fine. So feel free to do that as well. So I have, oh yeah, that's already starting to thicken. So now lastly, I just want to tell you what we're going to do, because I'm not going to keep you on to have you do this. So when the pressure cooker is done, then we will open up the lid and we will stir in 4 ounces of cream cheese that I just have sitting over here in another bowl, 2 ounces of fresh Parmesan cheese, the thickening that was the milk and cornstarch, and these breadcrumbs. And we will stir that together. And then if you wanted and you made the whole batch of breadcrumbs, when you scooped it out to serve, you would sprinkle some more of the toasted breadcrumbs on top. And this recipe with a side salad, and you have a delicious, really quick meal. So I hope you guys try it, even if you didn't cook along with me tonight. I hope you get the ingredients and make this another night. And if you have questions, put them in the chat. I will follow up on that. And then remember, also in the chat, in the comments below, I'm going to put the link for the home office cook along that's at 7 o'clock live tonight. And it's some fun Super Bowl ideas. So lots of cooking can happen, and I'm here to help you guys, and I'll be back soon. Thanks for joining me.